Well, hello, and thank you for joining me for another IT Wire video. I have with me Ralph Candiloro. He is Juniper Networks Regional Vice President for Australia and New Zealand. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
So I thought we'd just start by asking you to remind us about Juniper Networks, what it does, and the short version of your history in the world of tech.
Look, I've been in the industry 25 years plus, so it won't be a short history, but I joined Juniper just over 12 months ago. And part of that, my attraction to Juniper was that the foundation of Juniper 20 years ago was as a bit of a challenger brand. And I sat down with the executive leadership of Juniper just on 18 months ago, and I was very excited about the innovation that they were coming out with, and the whole disruptive nature of getting into the basically the decoupling of the software and hardware, which allowed us to get more into the software-defined networking with the SDN space, which is now becoming, the digital, commonly known as digital disruption. Yeah,
well, I mean, disruption and software-defined networking, these are all the buzzwords. These are all the realities for business today.
Absolutely, and I mean, and they're the challenges that a lot of companies are facing. And as you're probably aware, we went out with Wakefield and did some research, and that research was really commissioned by us to 12 months, 18 months into our journey to see that whether what we were finding specifically with the customers we were dealing with was resonating and was true in the broad church out there in different industries. And well, the short and the long of it is that the good news is that what we're seeing in our particular customers is exactly what we're finding through the research.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of companies out there now wanting to help businesses deal with all of the disruption. I mean, the report, for example, shows how Australian organisations are grappling with these new challenges as they accelerate from things like proof of concept studies through to actual production. So, how is Juniper helping its customers do that?
Look, we've been involved for the last 2 or 3 years in the space from its inception. We've obviously been involved in a lot of the early concepts and proof of concepts and labs, and the journey's kind of threefold, I suppose. The first bit is the innovation piece of bringing the technology to the partners and to specific industries. The second piece is grappling with the business case that goes along with that, and finding the inflection point and the need. Alongside the customer, and then the third one, and it bears out in the survey as well, is the challenges that you then face with the workforce transition that's required as well. So it's not only a technology transition, but it's as much a workforce transition, and some of that is borne out in the findings.
Sure. And I mean, I'll have a link to the report in the story that accompanies this video. But what's the reality of how prepared or unprepared companies really are for this digital disruption and transformation? I mean, you must still have new customers coming to you every day saying, help us.
Yeah, look, we do, and we're intimately engaged. What we've actually found is that, 2-3 years ago as an industry, we went out there and evangelised, the software-defined networking and the network function virtualisation. Today, we work very closely with a lot of different companies in different industries, and they're finding their applications. And it can vary from a point application, just shifting something simply into the cloud that's currently on premises, or something as disruptive as adding an Internet of Things application, and going over the top and through a network with that. So the nice thing is that we're now becoming more application specific and fine tuning some of that. Look, the findings actually showed that, if I can recall some of the research, that about 82% is the number that people are saying that they're either got some SDN or some disruptive automation happening in the network, or that they're at proof of concept. About 32% said they have it in the network and are using it today, and 50% of them are at the proof of concept or ready to use. So 82% is quite a significant number.
Sure. Now, I have a series of other stats here that I'll include in the article that follows this video. But are there any other major findings or any other things from the report you'd like to highlight and leave people a memory of and with?
Yeah, look, the two things that's really interesting that came out, and we do know that it's been part of the journey with our customers, is that 91% are concerned that their current IT infrastructure it is competitive, but that they feel that there is, this could be an obstruction to remaining competitive. So while they're comfortable with where they're at today, they do understand that they need to come to grips with this one and understand a little bit better. And then the one that I mentioned before, Australia specifically in the research, because we went global with this one, a little bit higher, 31% of the IT decision makers said that more than half of their IT workforce was not going to be ready nor have the skills to tackle what they need in the future. That is slightly higher than the 21% of the rest of the world or the global number. How are we seeing that bear out in our business? You mentioned what we've been doing. One of the things that we've been doing is that we've increased our workforce. Our challenge is like any other C-suite challenge out there or any company grappling with this. We've got to maintain our legacy in our current business because, that doesn't look like abating either. I mean, those products are still resonating in the marketplace and doing well. But we also know that people are going to blend some of these new software-defined and automated products through the network. So we've been increasing our workforce via our investment in readiness because that was something we acknowledged. This finding kind of resonates with us because what we're finding is some of the early adapters in the Australian marketplace and worldwide are actually buying the services as a professional service or as a service. And they're doing it for two reasons. One, I think the research says they're not quite ready internally. By buying it as a service, it means that they can actually adapt and be early adapters and early movers in the marketplace. But more importantly, I think it also means that they can use the services or led approach in a way that means that, one, they're early to market, but they use it as an educative process for their own workforce. So they're using it as a double prong approach. So and I think that probably for us was a key finding in the research that said that's the problem, and we're finding that our investment's being used to answer that initial problem in the early adaptation.
Sure. Now, I know that you're busy helping companies move into the future that we are living in now, and some of them are still stuck in the past, and that's why they need this help to disrupt themselves before someone else disrupts them. But if we look into the crystal ball, how do you think all of this disruption will have evolved over the next 10 years, for example? What are the disruptive things we might be dealing with then? How do you think the market might look if we just gaze a bit into the not too distant future?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be evolutionary. It's not going to be revolutionary. Although, what happens is the speed to market is going to change. Obviously, the velocity we're seeing it increasing, and we're also seeing with the borderless and the boundaryless applications that are coming through that it's challenging some industries in the way that they do business, and that's no different for us. If when I talk to our customers and I talk to the C-suite specifically, they know that when they compete head to head with a disruptive technology, that the legacy stuff is typically not as competitive, not as flexible, and the cost of delivery is higher. So I think both for the traditional and the new technology, that's going to be an ongoing and reoccurring theme. And I think the other thing is that once they've got the basic infrastructure in, I think that's going to probably stay static once that's in over the next couple of years. As I mentioned earlier, it's all the weird and wonderful ways and the new applications that all these organisations are going to find to do that. And as the workforce changes and becomes more comfortable with that, as that innovation starts, as we go from the more traditional skill sets in all these organisations, and you bring on some of the software savviness that they'll be hiring over the next couple of years, I think it's really at the application end and that the use will change. I think that getting to your customers and the delivery of that, the over-the-top players have shown us how quickly you can get an application to somebody's desktop, not dissimilar to the one that we're using today, to be able to do something that you couldn't do a while ago. So again, speed to market and flexibility, I think, is going to be. And I think the other thing is, while we're taking broad technology today and applying it and probably giving people a few flavours, I think the tailoring and the individualisation of how a company to company or consumer to business to consumer business is conducted is going to change, and I think that intimacy with the client is going to improve.
Sure. Now, I always like at the second last question to just change gears a little bit and just ask if you could just please share with the viewers what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received to help you get where you are today.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Oh yeah, well, what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received in your life, from parents, teachers, mentors, friends, to help you get where you are today? Just change gears a bit.
Yep, that that you never stop. You know that life is a journey, as they say.
Yeah.
But the most important one that I've learned in this industry is that change is constant, and to embrace it. And I'm finding that we in the industry that embrace it are having a bit of a fun journey. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So yeah, just accepting the change and realizing that it's not going to stop until it stops, right?
Sure, absolutely. So do you have any final messages for ITWire viewers and readers and for your current and future customers?
Yeah, look, the one thing I'd say is that the Australian industry, it mirrors a lot of the developing countries. We're very much in line with the Western world as far as a lot of the technology that's coming. So we benefit from being early adapters. And I would encourage everyone to embrace the skill set and the shift that's happening in the marketplace. It is an inflection point at the moment. And I think we're in for an exciting growth period in the industry, and one where I think subject matter expertise is going to matter more than ever, as well as trying things and failing fast. So yeah, I think the next 3 to 5 years are going to be a lot of fun, and for the viewers, I would say just embrace it and enjoy the ride.
Sure, Ralph. Thank you very much, and I wish you the best of luck and hope to talk to you again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.